there's no video because Avi wasn't here. All right. We're holding Daf Tzadik Gimel and Beis all the way in the bottom by the Mishnah. Nu sugya. Sheleach Adam Yorech Lenochri. We learned already the hard way that 5 doesn't mean 5-2, means something else. Sheleach Adam Yorech Lenochri Shigid Anosh B'Soicha. Mipnei Shemekoymoi Nikar. Okay, so we're starting a whole sugya here, very interesting sugya. Whether or not, so it goes like this, Rabbi say, let's make a Agdama. In those days where most of the city, most of the village had kosher butchers, you were permitted in some circumstances to buy even from the Goyish butcher. You had a Goyish store without a hechsher, you walked in there and bought a piece of meat from him. Why? Because most of the butchers, almost everybody was Jewish, and in certain situations, if there was a treifa, they would make an announcement. So everybody knew there was a treifa. Now, in those days, there's no refrigeration, so the treifa lasted for one day, the animal lasted for one day. So any fresh meat, I knew it was either a treifa, and if it's a treifa, do not buy from the guy that day. If there's no announcement, it had to be that was from the guy. Now you're going to ask me, maybe the guy, if there's no announcement, it was the kosher meat, fine. What about if the guy snuck a behemoth in his backyard and shechted? It's a little bit of a problem, but we go by Roiv. Most people, most sheikhtim in that village are Jewish, and Memela Roiv. Right? It sounds very familiar to what we do today.
Counterintuitive, because today all the treifas are sold off to the Goyish butchers.
Yeah.
In the street you find a treifa, you sell it
right.
to the Goyish butcher.
So they did the same thing there. Now there's places that there was no achraza, they wouldn't make any announcements. That would simply mean that you're not allowed to buy meat from a guy ever. You're never allowed to buy because there's no announcement made, so maybe they sold it off to the guy like we do today. So says the Mishnah, you're allowed to see full thigh, a whole thigh with the Giddah Nosha inside of it, because if a Jew were to buy it, he would figure out that there's a Giddah Nosha in it. Now we have to see the Gemara. The Gemara explains. Shleime in chatuchaloi. It seems like from the Mishnah that the only time you're allowed to send something to a guy is if it's whole and the Giddah Nosha is recognizable. But if it's cut up, not. If it's a city that they never announce, and therefore what? A guy can never sell meat to a Jew. You can never buy from a guy, you can't trust him. What's the problem? What's the difference between a whole thigh and a cut up thigh? At the end of the day, nobody's gonna buy from the guy. You're telling me it's a place that they typically announce. And they didn't announce, maybe. They didn't announce that day. What's going to happen? So it's a place that they typically announce, but today was a day there was no announcement. It was a good day. So what are you going to do? You're going to give the guy a whole thigh. A whole thigh, everybody knows. Oh, here's the Giddah Nosha, you can see it. The guy is smart. He goes, takes his chop saw, boom, 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 cuts it up into a bunch of pieces, and sells that whole piece. So what do you gain? See, there's a pshat in each way. It's talking about a place that there's always an announcement, and there was a good day, there's no announcement. The guy made the idea. We're not worried that the guy is going to cut it up, because the Jew has a certain way that he cuts it up, a very specific way that actually ruins the meat a little bit, because he tries to take out the Giddah Nosha, so he cuts it from top to bottom or whatever it is. So you tell right away, but a Jew messed around with it. A guy chops it off differently. He chops it up nicely with the grain or whatever it is. It looks different. Now if we stop right here, there's an amazing Rashi. Let's look in Rashi right over here. A Jew cuts it open like the Giddah Nosha lays, meaning from top to bottom. Now says Rashi, Valdos Samach Rabbi, my Rebbe was soimach on this Gemara. Amazing. There's a problem with Basashin and Salmon Ayin. If I give a guy a bunch of meat, I give him a steak, you cannot take it from him. You're not allowed to buy it from him later on. Says Rashi's Rebbe. However, if the meat has a simon to it, no, it's not Rebbe HaKadosh. It's my Rebbe. There is no Rebbe HaKadosh here that talks about this b'chlal. It's my Rebbe. What? No, I know. Right. So from the simple, when you first read it, it seems like Rebbe HaKadosh. It means his Rebbe.
Not the way he refers to his Rebbe usually, though. Right?
Okay. But that's what it is there.
He usually refers to his Rebbe in a different way.
Who wasn't who used to cut his meat up in a triangle to make it cinnamon?
What?
We had there was a priya, who always cut his meat.
I don't have that memory, my friend.
You don't remember that?
No, his. The cutting up
I
and
remember
trying.
that. I
Yeah.
don't remember his name. Go on.
Akaparim. So he says a very interesting thing here. Allah Lamaisa, says Rashi, that if Jews cut meat in a certain way,
Yeah.
then that is your plumber. So you have a sealed package, you have a sign on it, you have a signature, whatever it is, and you have something called a cut. If it's a Jewish cut, you could put it in an open container and give it to a guy, and the guy could deliver it 2 days later, and we're not worried that he switched it out with his own meat. And he didn't make any kind of seal. As long as it's cut in a certain way. But another limb where a Jew and a guy have the same exact way of cutting, then there's no sign in the way he cuts it. Fine. We're talking about a city that they don't announce. If they don't announce, you never buy meat from a guy. So if you never buy meat from a guy, so why can't you give the guy a cut up piece of thigh? So we're worried that a Jew will see the transaction and he'll see that you just gave this guy a piece of meat, and memela what? You gave him a piece of meat and he sees it, and he'll think that you gave him a good piece of meat, and he'll go and buy it from him. Oh, so that's the question of the Rishonim. The answer is that he heard the Jew telling the guy. One answer is he heard the Jew overlooking it. He sees from a distance. He sees a Jew selling a piece of meat to a guy, and he overhears the Jew telling the guy, "This is kosher," and it really is kosher for the Jew. It's a kosher piece of meat, but he didn't remove the Gidan Asha. So for the guy, it's kosher because it was shechted normally, and it's kosher. And the guy wanted to eat kosher meat. As we're going to see soon, that you're not allowed to fool a guy, even in kosher or not kosher. If you tell a guy that it's kosher, it's kosher. Just what he forgot to tell him is that there's a gid inside. And the Jew, on that the Jew is going to make a mistake. The second Jew. He's going to think he said kosher, meaning the gid is removed, and it's not removed. And on that
they make a zera. That sort of case.
Yeah. Okay. Listen, we're going through all situations. If it's talking about this place or talking about this place, in a place that they make a achraza, then you understand. Now,
The terrorist that the gid is moved to the goy, not us.
The Gemara doesn't seem to be choshesh for
for what?
fraud.
Fraud.
We say we know
Right.
how it's cut, and if it's cut like this, and but we're not choshesh
That a Jew's gonna fool a guy.
In the way the Yid cuts.
Here, look at this. This is one of the most amazing halachas I've ever seen. You're not allowed to fool a guy, and this is halacha lamaisa. And I think that I wasn't so aware of this halacha. Like, you have employees, goyish employees. You think, okay, you tell them like this. You're not allowed to even tell them something that's not consistent with the truth. You know, not even if you take money from him. You're not allowed to tell him, hey, this is a good kosher piece of meat, when you know very well that it has a sircha. What does he care? So it has a sircha. He has to be makbid? No. Says Rashi. If you look at Rashi, Mishum the Goyin of Daitoi, the guy. Don't even think that the Gemara is talking about a Jew. We're talking about the guy here. The Kosavar Yisrael Zeh Oyav Moed. He thinks his Jew loves him a lot. Shetikno v'tarba lita gida ad shenirs la'atzmoi. The guy thought that the Jew really prepared the meat like he would prepare for himself. And then he worked really hard and he gave it to him. And he didn't remove the Gidan Asha. It comes out that the guy owes the Jew a favor. And halachically, you're not allowed to do that. to a guy. Forget about stealing from the guy. So there's a concept called tosakim. If a guy gives you money by mistake, but you're at the toll booth, he gives you extra buck, then you don't have to say anything. But to go and fool him, make him think something, make him think that it's kosher meat, you're not allowed to do this. It's unbelievable halacha. This is how we bounce, yeah. Gnevas das, and we have to remember this because it's negel and maisa, especially those who deal with goyim.
Is it because they'll think it's a vodah zorah?
Yeah.
Is that why?
Zog the Gemara.
Kosher to say not only
What?
not allowed to be going to das of the Jew as well.
Yeah. The Gemara didn't say that. What are you talking about? I can even die from the Gemara. They are only not allowed to be going to das of a guy.
Baby fetus that you're not worried about. That you're worried about. This you're not worried about.
Dama Shmuel, they don't know what guy means.
Figure it out.
Dama Shmuel, also, no, that was a Jew that made an aura. Baby fetus was a Jew. Was it from God?
No, that you're worried about.
Okay.
Say you could take a guy's dollar from the toll booth guy that you're not worried
I
about.
didn't say take it. He gave it to you.
A guy would also.
Okay. Dama Shmuel. Says Shmuel, also lignoiv das habriois vafilu daitish goy. You're not allowed to steal the das of a person and also not the das of a goy. Gnevas das. And the Gemara is going to give us examples. By the way, if you want to push off the story of Shmuel, you could get away with it. You could say that it's not really true. Shmuel never said it. The Shmuel Shmuel was on a ferry. And there's a ferry driver. You have to pay him. Go pay the guy. The story is that his shamish paid him, and Shmuel got really upset. And the question is, why did he get upset? The guy, instead of paying him $10, he gave him a dead chicken. He gave it to him as if it was shechted. So Shmuel said, what are you doing? You're fooling a guy. You told the guy it's badat, and nobody could eat it. Straight. Rav Omar, he told him, give him a cup of wine. And he gave him a diluted cup. Instead of giving him a cup, like Shmuel said, with good geschmack, a strong wine, he gave him watered down wine.
They didn't want to drive it.
He was already getting off. He was done with it. So you see, you're not allowed to be going of das of a goy. So what if you? Okay, what's the difference if he said it before or not? Says the Gemara, because at the end of the day, if you want, you could play around here. You could say it's never happened. If he paid him with a chicken, so Shmuel's upset. How do you have a treif chicken on you? What's going on there? If you have a treif chicken, get rid of it. If the story was that he told him, go pay him with a cup of wine, he was upset at him. I told you, give him wine. Why are you not listening to me? What, like you tell your child, not because of gnevas das. Listen, I told you, give him wine. Don't give him diluted wine. Fine. Now we continue with gnevas das. Yeah, he was upset at him. I don't know if it's a lav. No, I don't know if it's a lav, but you should be careful. You are my student. What are you schlepping around the tray for chickens? Get rid of it immediately.
Why doesn't he go and say it's forbidden to have enough from it?
You're allowed to have enough from treifa. Yeah, why not? Why can't it's a treif? Treif means that you shechted it, you opened up its stomach, and you saw that there's a sircha. That's treif. You're allowed to have enough from it.
If he would have told the ferry operator it's a treif, it would have been okay.
Yeah, exactly. Tanya Omar Rabbi Meir Omer Al Yisarei V'Adam L'Chaver L'Soyed L'Soyed V'Dei Boy Sheni Soyed. Rabbi said this happens every week. A guy comes over and says, I want to eat by you. You want to eat by me. He knows I'm going away to Yerushalayim. They do it all the time. As soon as they find out I'm going to America, oh, you want to come over for Shabbos? Oh no, you can't. Oh, sorry. Okay. Is that mutter or not? No, I see you scratching your face. Yes, Barim Begoy.
By you it's mutter because you know that they know that you know that.
Ah, okay, fine.
It's gnevas das.
Yes,
No, you're not going to come anyways. It doesn't matter.
It's interesting because the Smas says over here, the Shulchan Aruch brings down this halacha, the Smas says it's only if you do it more than like 2 times. 2 times is okay, because that's covered for a person. But when you start pestering him, and you're pretending that you're really serious, when you're not, and you know that he doesn't eat out, let's say, That's also.
Does not come under.
Why is it also?
Does not come under halachas covering white lies for shun bias.
Yeah, so there is halachas. We're going to get to there soon. We're actually going to touch those halachas. But when there's no covet issues, there's no nothing. You want this guy to owe you a favor. And that's what's happening here. Because you offered him a meal, now he owes you. So you're a ganav. He owes you a favor.
It's like inviting somebody to a wedding. You know they're not going to come anyways. You're expecting to invite them.
It's not, yeah. It's a halacha l'maisa, Rabbi. I really think it's halacha l'maisa. Inviting people for bar mitzvah, inviting people. You wouldn't invite this guy. Let's say you're making a suda, you're only inviting, a certain amount of people.
That's a covet. You want to invite someone.
So covet, the Gemara says, is only in front of other people, not to that person. That's the Gnevas Das part. It happens all the time. What? No, so but the Mendy is saying that's what I used to think also. The guy is enjoying it. Look, you invited him, but the guy now owes you a toiva. That's what. Let's finish the sugi and then you tell me if what you think is right. You have this all the time. Somebody says, "Here, take 200 shekel for what you just did." And the guy says, "No, take." So sometimes the guy that doesn't want it is pretending he doesn't want it. He really doesn't want it. Sometimes the guy that's giving doesn't want to give. He knows the other guy's going to refuse. That's also asur. You know how to say take something when you know the guy's not going to take it. This is a very interesting halacha. So you have a whole barrel of wine. Once you open the barrel of wine, it goes bad. So a guest comes over on Shabbos, and it happens all the time, but not with a barrel of wine. It happens like with a nice bottle of wine. Let's say you're going to open this up anyways, but that's a different halacha. Here, let's talk about this halacha. The Gemara's halacha is you have a giant barrel of wine, you open up the barrel of wine. Rashi and Omid Beis, this is a very important Rashi, our boy side. Menachem, just for this is worth coming here. If you look at one of the last Rashis on Omid Beis, on Tzadik Dal Omid Beis, Rashi Dibra Maskil Inu Deka Matun Avshayu. By me, it's the first wide line. It says, "V'chein hapoisei chavir samechuris lecheveni do omer loy b'shvilcho ani poischam." This is an amazing Rashi, a very important Rashi to the whole sugya. That Rashi holds over here, not like all Rishonim, but he holds that the guy actually said to his guest, "I am opening up this barrel of wine for you." Some Rishonim say no, he was just quiet. It was self-understood. Fine, but whatever the case is, the guest now owes him a huge favor because this whole barrel of wine is going to waste. He's going to have 1 or 2 cups from it, and then the guy has to throw away 30 cups or whatever is left over in the barrel. So now he's makar toiva. Look what this guy did for me. When in fact the owner sold it. He pre-sold it to the store. He's not going to incur any loss at all. So now that's a huge gnevas das. I'm making him feel better. I'm giving him a lot of kavod. Doesn't work like that. Kavod that he owes you something in return, that's not allowed. Well, let's see. Let's go weiter. Maybe it is.
If he sold on it, how could he take a couple more?
So he's allowed to take a couple wine because he only sold whatever's left over. They discuss it. It's a good question. Now this is very interesting. He comes to him and there's absolutely nothing in here. He doesn't see. You want some of my oil? No, you don't want. Okay, givaldik. Okay, but I'm offering. You sure? No. So now he's really a ganav because there's nothing to offer him. It's different than the wine. It's different than eating by Shabbos. Because if the guy says, yeah, I want to eat by you, so he'll be stuck with him and he'll actually have to invite him over. He didn't mean to, but over here has nothing to offer. So he's mamash a ganav. He's offering something he doesn't have. Yet the big chiddush here is the next halacha. V'im b'shvil kvoidoi mutar. That if there's people surrounded and they're watching and they see this offer, they see Yankel offering barrel oil, so everybody's saying, wow, Barrel's a chashav guy, look at Yankel, he's offering him. So that gives him covet. It doesn't say here that it's one-on-one, it says that there's other people here. So you're inferring from this one-on-one if the guy gets a good feeling. But the good feeling itself is what that car's the type that he owes him for no reason, which is the Isser.
How do you know that it has to be in front of other people?
That's what it's talking. Yeah, Rashi says. V'im b'shich mutar eini v'ula ikla Rav Yehuda pasuk lechavis hamechuris lechem over there. Rav Yehuda made Ula feel really good. He opened up big barrels of wine for him. Says the Gemara over there, oidei. You have to say, like we said, if you tell the guy, then it's fine. Rabbi Yehuda loved Ula so much, and everybody, I guess, would do it for Ula. Open up a barrel of wine, no problem. I just remember there's a guy in Chicago. You know him, Ushi. You go to his house for Shabbos. He has a cellar, a wine. What is it called?
Wine cellar.
A wine cellar. He goes there. He'll open up a $1,000 bottle of wine for you, no problem. Anytime you go to him, anybody goes, yes, that's his thing.
What's his name?
I just said his first name, Ushi. Anyways, I'm not exaggerating. $1,000, and if he really likes you, it's a $5,000 sometimes. It's crazy stuff what's going on there. What?
Is it good?
Then he sells it to the Chinvani.
There's no difference between $1,000 bottle of wine.
I'll tell you what he had. He had there a bottle of wine. I'm not joking. It had pieces of gold in it, real gold, like floating around in it, and that's why it costs more money. But does it taste like anything? I don't think so. But that's why it costs more money. They had a.
It's a liqueur like that also.
Yeah.
Turn around, bottom. No, I jumped. Okay, sorry. Turn around, bottom. I love this. He goes into the Oval's house. He knows the Oval's not going to drink any wine here. He can't even drink. So he comes in with this big bottle of whiskey. Look what I brought you. It's empty. It has a little bit on the bottom, and he makes it. Shalom Aleichem. Also, because now the guy thinks you brought him a whole bottle. I don't know if this halach applies to like filling up a bottle of whiskey with junk. You know, you take this $1,000 bottle.
It does.
It does. Okay.
It's the same halacha. I did that.
You did. You were over on it?
Did you get Malchus for it?
I was there.
What? Oh, and somebody told you it's usher.
Years later, I found out that it was us. I did an experiment to see if anybody knows.
No, at the time you gave it to somebody as a present.
No, at my table at home, I put in Red Label into a bottle of Glen for like a year and a half. Nobody copied.
By the way, they're the same price.
Red Label? No. It was an expensive bottle.
Red is better than Glen. I don't. I'm talking about like this. You're talking about like this. Wow.
No, one's a single malt and one's disgusting. And for a year and a half, nobody would take. Everyone drank that. Nobody caught the difference.
The
Later on, I found out it's also to do it.
The Spinky Rebbe came to my father-in-law's house. So he asked my father, "You have a good mashke?" So my father says, "Okay." For the Spinky Rebbe, he pulls out this $500 bottle. He has this bottle that he loves. He bought off all the 72s, 1972 of this certain bottle. So he's going to give him. It's like $500 bottle. So he gives him a shot. The guy goes, "Ooh, this is good. So he gets a three shots later. He goes, "Wow, this is mamish. This is like shivas. This mamish tastes like shivas." All right. Anyways. Oh, this, it doesn't say what you said. Don't fill it up with water. Listen, if you fill it up with semi-good wine, maybe it's not a problem. It says don't fill it up with water.
I'm not going to taste it. He's just showing it.
Yeah. It's all show. Now he owes you a favor. Now, if there's important dignitaries sitting around there, mutar. Because now you, Yankel, the chashiv guy, came in and brought a nice present. No, those dignitaries are not going to touch the bottle. They're not going to know it's empty. And they're going to think you're mechabed him. And this is the same concept you said before. When there's people watching, covered for other people, it's okay. For whatever reason. We have to look into it. What about the favor that you owe him? But this is what he was saying before. Like, you have to mipnei shalom, there's certain...
He's giving you something for real. He's not only, it's not a favor for
him. He's giving him cover. Yeah, but in the other places also.
A lot of other people.
I know, but before also you gave him something for real. An invitation is something real. I just feel so good because you just invited me.
No, but now
why do I owe you a favor? Because you made me feel good.
other people are going to look up to
Publicly, it's in front of other
It's a bigger favor? It's a bigger favor? Okay. So it depends on how big the favor is.
Could be worth a lot of money.
Okay.
If this fellow is recognized.
It's actually worth more than the bottle itself. Okay? Now there's a difference, says the Gemara, between, I know, Amud Beis is a little shorter, all Amud Beis are shorter. There's a difference between a shoe, leather, made from an animal that you shechted, and an animal that died from old age or sickness or disease, died on its own, just dropped dead. So you're now going to pass it off as if you're selling him a shoe that's high quality leather, even if you take a lesser price. First of all, you're fooling him, it's not the same quality. Interesting, because what if What if there's this animal dropped dead? Why did it drop dead? Because it just got bit by a snake. So there's poison in its hide, and the other guy has a cut on his foot, and the poison will go into him and it'll cause damage. This is very interesting. Rabbi Isai, you're now allowed to bring your friend a present, and a practical joke for 5 minutes. You give him something that has floating oil on the top. The whole thing is full of wine, garbage. Wow, look at this. He just gave me a whole bottle of oil. Now, of course, once he starts pouring, he'll realize right away what a practical joke is. What happened? You came just in time for the great Maisa. A person once received such a gift, and he got all excited. He said, "Oh, now I can invite guests. I have enough oil to feed my guests." And all his guests showed up. He realized that he was fooled there. Practical joke. He killed himself. Now, if you think killing yourself is a story, now we're going to have a story that's even much worse than this. A guest is also for him. I've never seen anybody be makbid on it. Maybe you have to be makbid only when there's a famine or something. But a guest is not allowed to give the children of the host the food that he received from his host. Don't feed the animals. Look what happened there. It was a famine. And no, it's brought down in halacha here that some say that la halacha is because it was a famine. The Rishonim point this out. This poor guy invited guests and he had nothing to his name besides 3 egg volumes of food. Let's say bread or eggs, whatever it was. This poor child who hasn't eaten in days comes and starts shepherding the guest. Could I have some of your food? Right, like my wife went once to Yerushalmi. You know the girls in seminary. They go to people to eat. So she goes you go to Meisharim once in a while. She went there and they put down like a piece of weird looking chicken in front of her. She said no, thank you, and that was the end of the meal. So she thought, okay, so I'll eat the next course, or there was no course. That was it. These guests thought it's coming. The next thing is coming. They didn't realize that was the end of the meal, and they gave whatever they had to the kid. Comes the host, Shalom Aleichem, he realized that the kid has all the food. He was so embarrassed that he had nothing to give his guest. He took his own child and whacked him in the ground until he died. The mother, seeing what happened there, so she committed suicide as well. We're talking about in the Shnei Batzaris. You're talking about in famine. We can't understand this. It was a tremendous anios. So she jumped off the he realized his whole family is gone. So he committed suicide. So he says, all 3 died. Hold on. What are you saying, Levi? I was missing you, Taka. What's going on? What are you saying?
In the Holocaust period, you have
Okay.
The lesson is don't give away your food if you don't have any food to your own family. Don't bring in guests to the house. That's the lesson of the story.
That's what the guy was doing. He's doing chesed on the cheshbon of his own kids. Michael Mashmalon. Well, okay. Rebbe Lezer says, by the way, 3 people died. Yeah, I think everybody realized that 3 people died here. Michael Mashmalon, the Kula Rebbe Lezer Miyakovi, everything that we set up until now, the whole Bryce, so all the halachas beforehand, are also Rebbe Lezer Miyakov. Tana Rabbanon. If you give a Jew a thigh, you don't have to remove the Gidei Noshe. But if it's cut up, you must remove the Gidei Noshe. But if you give it to a guy, you don't have to. Now, Rashi points out that this doesn't go according to our Mishnah. What? Because the problem is you're fooling him, or the problem is another Jew might see it from the side. This brisa doesn't hold to that. We have to move here. Why don't you sell a treifa? Now, we have to see here. We'll see in a second. There's 3 halachas here. just want to point out real quickly, we'll do about peh quickly. There's 3 halachas that the Bryce is going to say. And we said there's 2 types of cities. One where they announce that the meat is sold to a guy, that there's a treifa, and therefore, if they make an announcement, you're allowed to buy from a guy. And the other city is where they don't make announcements. By the way, why don't they make announcements? They don't want to insult guy, and they don't want to start saying treifas. They're worried about the guy. They don't make announcements. Don't buy from the guy at all. You never buy from a guy. Now, there's 3 shittas how this works. Either the whole Bryce is very consistent. It's talking about all cases, and it's in the same place. There's no achraza. Rav also says it's very consistent. It's talking about a place that all 3 places they do make achraza. Just Rav has one inconsistency that you have to say that day they didn't do it. They didn't make achraza. In other words, Rav Ashi is the most consistent. It's solid. It's all the 3 cases are the same exact. There's no achraza. According to Rava, it's a place. The place is solid. All 3 cases are in a place that they do make an announcement. So you're allowed to buy from a guy. It just so happens to be that the middle case where I circled it, they didn't make achraza. According to Abai, it's messed up. Part of the Bryce is talking about that there's achraza, there's a place, and part of the Bryce is where there's no achraza. So let's see inside. Maybe he'll sell it to another guy. So the Gemara is going to go into more. We'll see. You're not allowed to make a guy for him to go buy. Why? The guy could be a jerk and he'll keep the money for himself and go to a Jew and steal his meat. He'll go and force the Jew to give him meat, or he'll force the Jew to give him a better price. But he'll keep the money for himself. The Jewish butcher will see a guy customer. He'll say, "Oh, let me get rid of my garbage. Let me get rid of my treif." He'll give it to the guy, and the guy in return is going to give it to the Jew that sent him. Now let's see it inside. If you sell meat to a guy, you don't have to remove the gid anasha, even if it's cut up. Which we were medayik from the Mishnah. That's not the case. If it's cut up, you're not allowed to give it to the guy. If it's talking about a place that you announce and you're allowed to buy from the guy, why don't you have to remove it? It's a place that Jews buy meat from a guy. You're allowed to buy from a guy. Can you imagine going into a guy's store, could have 5 pounds of meat? Where's the hechsher? No hechsher. We're in a city of Jews. What do you mean? You just buy from a guy. It's not rabbanut. It's not, but that's nothing. You just buy meat from a guy. Unbelievable. So if it's talking about such a place, you have to say that the first part of the halacha is talking about a place that's no announcements, and memela, you're now allowed to buy from a guy. So the middle thing, the middle halacha is you're not allowed to sell a tray for the guy. Because you're fooling him, the guy thinks you're selling him shechted. Because he'll go back and sell to another Jew. So you tell me the first case is in a place that there's no announcement. So the second case, also no announcement. What's the problem? No Jew will ever buy from this guy, so you're allowed to sell him a treifa. How is he going to turn around and sell to a Jew? You don't sell to Jews in that place. So now we have a contradiction between the Reish and the Seifa. The Reisha is a place that they don't make an announcement, and now it's a place that they do make an announcement. And what about the third case? Don't make him a shliach. If it's talking about a place that they announce and you're allowed to buy from a guy, he said to have a treifa. If that day there was a treifa, and there was no announcement, so the safe is talking about also in a place that there's no announcement. If you remember all over Shas, Abai is always the one that says yes. Yeah. So what's Abai really saying here? Yes. He's saying, what's the problem? I'm giving you 2 different cases and you just figured it out yourself. Great. It would be easier for you if the Mishnah said, halacha number 1. Halacha number 2. Okay, so pretend that's what it says. You figured it out yourself. You just did the whole calculation. The beginning of the Mishnah, the Brisa is Makom She'ei Machrizim. Then we go to a case of Makom Machrizim. What's the big deal? I'm telling you 2 different cases. So that's a baya. It's talking about a situation where they make announcements. What's going on here? So let's see the cases. To sell a guy a piece of meat is not a problem because machrizim, they make announcements. So if they didn't make an announcement that day, all the meat is kosher. If they made an announcement, then don't buy from a guy. What's the problem? Nobody will ever buy from a guy. Now, the second case. What about? So that's if it's a whole, not whole.
First one is chatucha.
Yeah. So
It could be kosher, but with the get in there.
he'll see. He'll recognize it.
No, not
No, but it's got you don't.
It's Fatucha, no.
No, what's the pshat?
They're not-
I'm trying to move here. You're holding me back.
Let's keep going.
Yeah.
So we're talking about machrizim, but there were machrizim.
And that day there's no.
There was treifa. So that way a Jew won't buy the
Right, there were
chatucha.
machrizim and that day there were machrizim.
There was a achraza. Okay, very good.
That's why you can
There was a achraza that day, and maybe nobody's buying from the guy that day, anyways. Okay. Now, what's interesting here is this middle case, that you're not allowed to sell goy treifa
Right.
because,
People are going to buy. Kilo achrizim.
but there was no achraza.
Right.
So that's inconsistent. Rav has an inconsistency. He's trying to be consistent and say all three cases are achraza, 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 but the middle case, they forgot to be machraz. Abai doesn't like that.
God.
They weren't. No, they weren't. It says Rashi because there was a oinus. They forgot. They couldn't. They were supposed to and they didn't. So yes, it's all nice. It looks the same, machrizim, but there's an inconsistency, which Abai doesn't like that inconsistency. He doesn't like to say, but it's talking about a place that they forgot. He likes to say, yes, no. They were machriz, they were supposed to machriz, and they weren't.
Electricity fell down.
Machrizim, loichrizim. He also says loichrizim. Fine. Because the most consistent person is Rav Ashi. There's no problems with the Rashi. There's no achraza. They weren't supposed to be machriz, and they weren't machriz. Rav Ashi Omar.
It's a very shver gzera, that's all. That's
What?
Because he's the man. Right?
He is. I don't know.
Anyway,
Well, but what does that have to do with a chumrah? It's just a place that the man
buy
out.
from the guy there?
What?
If you're Rashi, can you? Like machrizim means you buy from the guy?
No, loy machrizim means you're not allowed to buy from a guy.
There you go.
Since
He's
there's no,
machriz. So that's it?
don't buy, don't ever buy. No, but that's a city. It's no. He's saying there's cities that you could and the cities you don't. Some cities you could. This particular city is a place that they instituted such a gzera on themselves.
Middle of the neighborhood.
Rashi Omar kula b'mokim she'ei machrizim. What about this case that you're not allowed to sell treif to a goy? Why not? Gzeira shamim kirenu b'nei Yisrael. So we have that case again. It seems like, yeah?
Mitziato. The mokum shemachrizim.
Yeah, that's what I said. Gzeira shemayim kirenu b'nei Yisrael.
You're in the middle of Rabbah.
I was. Rav Ashi Omar kula b'mokim she'ei machrizim. Tziyos gzeira shamim kirenu b'nei Yisrael. So the problem is, the reason why you're not allowed to sell to a goy, because maybe another Jew will see the transaction and he'll buy from him. How do you? What's the words? What's this announcement they make? Omar Rabbi Tzvi Yosef, Nofal Bisrael Livnei Chela. The guy just got a lot of meat that they could use. Ask the Gemara, why don't you just say the real thing? What happened there? Say, there's treif in the market. Lo Yizavni. V'levin Aval treif is Livnei Chela. Say the truth. Lo Yizavni. Then goyim won't buy the meat. They'll say, Jews don't use it. It's disgusting. It has sirchus on it. It's not healthy. Vokamatilu, but you're fooling the guy. Inu the kamatu nafshayu. So here's a concept we have to remember. When a guy fools himself, then that's his problem. He fooled himself. I didn't tell him it's not treif. He understood by himself.
It's the head for you.
Right.
To do what you did and do to the worker.
What did I do to my
No,
worker?
you're saying you're afraid to say something to the worker that he might miss.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think
Here,
back.
You're saying that it's not a
I
problem.
think in my mind I always had a certain kula.
so
I'm
you're
not
saying
saying
that
that.
the guy
I didn't lie to him.
himself-
Right, exactly.
You still have the cooler.
Right, so you have to know in each case. You're not allowed to fool. You're not allowed to create a gnevas das.
As long as he understands.
You
himself.
are not allowed to create the gnevas das. If he himself created the gnevas das, then
He could have found out by himself. Investigation.
okay.
Doesn't investigate, that's it.
It's an amazing story. Marzutra was walking. And it happens to be Rav and Rav Safra not related to Marzutra, also happened to be going in the opposite direction towards him. They bumped into each other. So he thought that they're coming to greet him. You didn't have to do this for me. Omalei Rav Safra. Anan lo happens to be sorry, Rebbe. We didn't. He tried to be a nice. He tried to go halachically. Anan lo yavi yadin the gosimar. You have a yadin and tfei, have him tzrichin, and had we known, we mamish would have really gone out of our way, but we didn't know. Omalei Rava, my tam amrisli hachi. Why did you ruin his mood? He was so excited that we came to greet him. Let him think it. We're fooling him. He fooled himself. Major halachas here. If somebody on his own says, "Oh, yishkoyach for opening up this bottle of wine for me," you're not mechuyev to say, "It wasn't for you." He on his own. Yeah. Say they have a great Shabbos. Matzah Shabbos 7:30. Rabbi, you say 7:30. Note the new time. 7:30 Matzah Shabbos.